My name is Dr. Dickens Lubanga. I'm a pediatrician practicing at Bungoma Children's Hospital. In today's session, we talk about albinism, or people who have a disorder. So the people themselves are called albinos. We are talking about it today because we've received questions, and many people normally ask what is their problem, how comes they've got a different color, yet probably they're born from black parents. How comes that their color is lighter compared to their parents? How comes their hair has got a different color from the rest of the people? And that's why we decided to talk about albino. So ideally, what causes albinism? So albinism, most of the time, one is born with it. Usually, it's an inherited disorder, and usually it's inherited. It can be inherited. Usually, it's normally autosomal recessive. So it means usually the parents will carry the gene, and before the child gets the disease. But normally, most of the time, those children who are born from parents, usually they are born from parents who do not have albino themselves. Majority of them don't have albino. It is very, very difficult for an albino to have a child who has got albino. And usually, what causes this to happen? That someone is born with a lighter color than the rest. So usually, like I said, it's an inherited disease, and usually there's a problem in one of their proteins. So usually they lack one of their proteins in the DNA, which is called tyrosine. And so when they have got this deficiency of this protein, then it affects how the black pigment that is formed on the skin, in that now they end up not having a dark color. And remember, in terms of definition, to further define albino, usually it causes discoloration of the eyes, it causes discoloration of the hair, and this also causes discoloration of the skin. Those are the three main areas that albino affects. And so how do you make a diagnosis of albinism? Usually, when somebody appears, of course, with a light skin color, then that's obvious. There are very high index of suspicion. Although there are others that might actually, because of deficiency of other micronutrients, that can also cause color changes. For example, the hair. Sometimes people have got copper deficiency. Sometimes might also have white hair, and because it's also an important part of nutrition that helps our hair to grow very well. Now, there are some people again who might have albino. That doesn't that purely just affecting the eyes alone. So you find that only the eyes do not gain the pigment. So you find that the body is well pigmented, but the eyes, the dark part, you cannot have the dark part. In fact, you'll see it hypopigmented. It becomes lighter compared to the rest, or to a normal eye, to a normal eyeball. So ideally, it is very difficult, especially here in Kenya, because we do not do testing for babies when they are still in the womb. But remember, other countries that are more technologically advanced, usually they can be able to tell if you are going to deliver a child who has got albino, because normally they take just some part of the amniotic fluid and they're able to sample it. And when they sample that amniotic fluid, then they can be able to know if this child will be an albino or a non-albino. But here usually you just give birth to a child and you just notice that he's actually hypopigmented. Like the color looks different from their parents. And you see now in African culture, people can think, oh, maybe if they're not especially aware of albinism, they might actually think probably those other things that probably would have happened. But ideally, this is it's a disorder, and it is actually inherited in autosomal recessive form. And and usually it's prevalent. Areas like Bungoma right now, we have seen quite a number of prominent people who have got albino, and they're living their lives normally without assistance. Usually, it pains more towards acceptance within the community that we are different. There are people will be born. There are those people born who are short. There are those people will be born who are brown. There are people will be born who are dark. There are people will be born who are actually white in color, real white in color. And so all this is God's own intention also to make us unique and to make us different. The only challenge that albinos face more is because of now the genetic mutation. Remember, the black pigment that we have protects us against harmful rays of the sun, especially the ultraviolet rays from the sun. And so you find for those people who have got albino, they're not protected. So it means there's nothing to shield them from the excessive weather. And so you find that because of that, then their skin is predisposed. Their skin gets injured more because of the harmful rays of the sun, because there's nothing that is on their skin to filter the excessive ultraviolet rays from the sun. Something else again, because of the constant inflammation by the sun, these are patients who will be at a higher chance of developing skin cancer. Because actually the sun is one of the highest cause of skin cancer, especially if your skin is not able to shield you from that. So we are saying that those of us who like the brown color, remember, you better have actually a dark color, because that's the color that protects you against the harmful rays from the sun. But the lighter you are, then it means that the more you are predisposed to the harmful radiation of the sun. So is there any treatment for albino? So usually there's no treatment, and like I said earlier, the lifespan remains the same. Albino does not affect the lifespan of the patient. They tend to, if God wanted you to live 80 years, those are the lives that you live, unless if maybe now you get cancer, skin cancer, which might actually finish you probably earlier. But otherwise, albino itself does not cause an effect in terms of how long one is going to live on this earth. The only thing that we do now is just to prevent now the effects and to protect the skin. So among the things that we do for the skin especially, one is we have to apply a lot of that is filter. We've got ointments that help us actually to avoid the radiation. So we ask them to get sunscreen, so that once they apply sunscreen, then usually, and we ask them to get those with higher powers. Those ones with powers as high as SP 90 and even higher. Those ones are the ones that can be able to help. So at any time they're going to the sun, then that's the only way that they can be protected. Another thing is to try to put on, at least to cover most of the skin to avoid the effects of the sun. And also to put on hats, especially on the head, so that when they have hats, at least it helps to prevent also the effects of the sun. For those ones who have been affected, especially the eyes, so we ask them to get sunglasses to reduce the frequency of the light that's getting into their eyes, so that they can be able to see very well, because usually we know that they're affected by extreme light. So another thing is about also asking the community to embrace them, because usually these are children, especially who will be laughed at in school because of their difference in color, and so they should be accepted, because these are just normal human beings. They don't have any weakness. They can still read in school. They can still become the top students. Actually, at some point, I saw this one of the students was an albino. Actually, was the top student. Was among the top students in this country. So that shows that they don't have any limitations in terms of ability. We just need to support them so that they can also come up. And being an albino does not mean that you are going to give a child birth to a child who is an albino. Like I said, these things are inherited, and we say that majority of the albinos actually don't have children who have got albinos. So it's not good to also segregate them in terms of our community. Thank you.